The American dream belongs to every child, and today we are equipping the next generation with the right to claim their rightful share of it. Through Trump accounts, our president is creating an ownership economy where all citizens become shareholders. 38% of American families do not have any exposure to our great equity markets, but with Trump accounts, over time, we can get that number to zero. Already, 6 million American children have signed up, 86% of them with families earning less than $200,000. U.S. Treasury, 1.4 million of those accounts will receive $1,000 from the U.S. Treasury to seed the accounts.
There you have Secretary Bessent talking about the 6 million kids that have signed up for Trump accounts, 4 of which are Annie Frey's kids. And I am super pumped about this. Let's get to our guest. Hogan Gidley joins us, senior advisor for the America First Policy Institute, former national press secretary of the Trump campaign. Hogan, happy semi-quincentennial. Thanks for being with us today. I want to talk to you about Trump accounts.
Absolutely. What an amazing feat by Donald Trump, something that really can be realized now, but its full impact won't be realized for a generation. And I can see a point at which news stories in the near future, the next 15 years, point to kids that have a lot more money, a lot more potential for earning because of doing exactly what you have done with your children, which is build them something for the future financially. And, for all the talk of how government does all these bad things, and it does a lot of bad, this was a way in which Donald Trump saw fit to structure a government program that allowed investment into our children that will pay millions and millions of not just dividends, but dollars for those children. Really amazing day.
Yeah, Hogan, I got on Grok and created some charts for my children to look at. Oh, hey, you want to just put this $1,000 in from their savings account, because I don't have any Trump babies, but they've got savings account for birthday money and Christmas money. And I said, if you put $1,000 in right now, I've got a 16-year-old, an almost 14-year-old, 10 and 5. And I'm like, look at what you'd have at 60 if you just never touched it and you didn't put anything else in it. And my kid's jaws dropped. I have had a conversation with my 10-year-old about compound interest, and she understood from what I showed her what that meant. This is equipping the future of this country, not just with knowledge, but with gains that are going to be meaningful long term.
That's just it. It's not just a theory. It's not just a promise for something down the road. It's you're getting something tangible right now. Now, you shouldn't touch it, as you just said, so it can be a whole lot more tangible to the tune of millions of dollars if you don't mess with it. But this is the type of forethought, and this is the type of thing Donald Trump really kind of traffics in, which is preparing the way for a beneficial future for all Americans, should you decide to take advantage of it. This isn't for one subset. This isn't for, hedge funders. It isn't for only the poor. It is for everybody who wants to invest in their child's future. You can do it with these Trump accounts, and I think it's going to be one of his biggest, strongest, most lasting legacies.
Yeah, I'm incredibly interested in the outcome of this. And I was having a conversation when my husband and I were talking about this, because we were thinking, do we seed these ourselves? Do we just wait to see? Because I think 2 of my kids are going to qualify for the Dell contribution of $250, which is incredible, which is why I'm telling everybody listening right now, if you have children, minors, it doesn't matter what age they are, the ability to open these accounts and just have them exist is incredible. I'm really curious about your thought. Of course, this is a public government program that started this whole thing, but talk to me about how this particular administration has brought the private sector into making this the success that it could possibly be.
Well, see, that's the part. Government alone probably couldn't do it. And Donald Trump in the first administration did this in a whole host of ways with opportunity zones inside a lot of these inner cities, where he public-private partnerships created an environment for jobs that, quite frankly, outpaced the job growth of other areas. So in these disadvantaged communities, but with the partnership between investors and the government, you saw more jobs created in those areas. The same thing applies here. This can't be done with just government. My gosh, how much would they want to take off the top? How much would they want to get in the way? Instead, you partner with these private sector, success stories, which, by the way, they're not all evil, as evidenced by this. They want to help, and they're giving back. This is a really, 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 again, not just brilliant move, but it is something that I think the American people can enjoy and will enjoy for their children, knowing you've got some nest egg for them you can begin to build on right now. You don't have to strike it rich. You don't have to win the lottery. You don't have to have some six-figure job. You can start putting money into these Trump accounts now for your kids, just a little bit at a time, and next thing you know, they're going to be set with a whole lot better future because of it.
Yep, 100%. Senior advisor for the America First Policy Institute, Hogan Gidley, speaking with us right now. I'm really asking myself how many families out there are going to avoid this because they're called Trump accounts, because they detest this man so much that they won't participate in it. And Hogan, I'm looking at stories right now on Fox News of people writing op-eds in the New York Times saying that Donald Trump ruined America's 250th birthday celebration for them. The obsession from a percentage of very committed people to hating Donald Trump is going to set them back, especially their children back, should they not participate.
Well, yeah, but also the left has ruined America for everybody else. You see this with people coming into our country from other nations for the World Cup, giddy about everything from ranch dressing to barbecue to choices at Walmart that they don't have. All of the leftist propaganda about how awful America is, we're the cause of the world's problems, we're the root of all evil. Turns out when people come from other nations, they go, wait a minute, we live in a country where hundreds of thousands of people die because they don't have air conditioning. And this isn't sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah.
This is England, for heaven's sakes. And they're looking around going, wait, why don't we have air conditioning in our countries? So this is a great example of people with that Trump derangement syndrome, as we've talked about. Not a joke, but it's an actual malady at this point. It's a sickness. But the left has repeatedly tried to say how horrible America is. So why they're mad at Donald Trump for 250 is not because he was on stage or not because he was speaking, although that's what they're saying. They're mad because he's telling everyone how great America is, and it flies in the face of their narrative that they've been telling us now for decades that we're a horrible country.
Yeah.
They don't like being second guessed. They don't like being challenged. Donald Trump is doing that simply by speaking on America's 250th birthday. And for your listeners, I'm sure many of them know, the average lifespan of a country's constitution is 17. Ours is 250 years old. That is incredible.
It is. It really is. I was just talking about this in the first segment of my show, but I don't know if you saw that. I don't even know who the organization was that was doing it, but they were burying a time capsule to be open in 250 years. And when I saw that, I paused. I actually thought to myself, who's going to be opening this in 250 years? Like, what are even the chances that America's around and thriving in 250 years? And it made me pause for a minute and say to myself, imagine being the founders of this country, starting from scratch with just an idea that you were putting into place. And 250 years, like, what if they would have been able to have a peak 250 years in the future? And this is what this country looks like. That's how unbelievably miraculous it is that we're here and why it's so important to protect it.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, looking at the last 250 years, it is not unique to us that we've had difficulties and challenges. All countries have those. What's unique is that we fight through them, and typically we come out stronger on the back end of it, having been in that fight together. The difference between now and then, and I hope this remains or changes back to the way it was in the next 250 years, is that at our core, when we disagreed, we also agreed, though, that America was great and that we were blessed to live in a nation that offered us freedoms and opportunities where you couldn't get them anywhere else. But now, because so many on the left, and most of them are rich white women, by the way, they're the ones trying to tell us how crappy this country is. And so there's a lack of base from which we can all at least agree on the commonality that America at her core is still a beacon of hope and of strength and of goodness and of democracy. We'll disagree on tax policy or we'll disagree on borders, whatever, but we agree America's great. The left doesn't believe that. The left doesn't like America. And by the way, it's part and parcel with their overall strategy. If they can get you to believe America is evil, then it's okay to elect communists and Marxists to office to change what America is, because after all, if America's awful, why wouldn't it? Why shouldn't it be changed?
Yeah. That's such an important point. And, last question here real quick before we let you go. Hogan Gidley speaking with us right now. We have really big partisan choices right now. If you look at New York City and wherever Los Angeles is going, and it's happening in other places around the country. But at the same time, the World Cup is taking place. We're seeing all these videos of visitors who are celebrating the most normal things about being an American that never make it through the media coverage. Do you feel more positive in this moment right now than maybe you would have 2, 4, 10 years ago about the future of this country?
I do, only because you're getting to see people from another country kind of expose how great we actually are. And I hope it's a gut check for all of those. It's weird because I can't believe I'm saying it, but people from England, people from Finland, people from, all these far off places are the ones putting these leftists, these radical American-hating citizens in check. They're the ones saying, hey, move to my home country if you want to, but you don't have the opportunity there. You don't have the affluence there. You don't have the abundance there that you have here. And so I hope this country's moving in the right direction. I think with Donald Trump's election, obviously that helps. But we're going to need to keep fighting for it for generations and for the next several election cycles, no doubt.
Yeah, and that's what we've been doing for 250 years, and we've got the right people at the helm to continue doing it in the future. And the right attitude now, I think, for sure. Hogan Gidley, it's a pleasure to speak with you. Thanks for giving us some time today.
Thanks much. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye. Senior advisor for the America First Policy Institute, former national press secretary for the Trump campaign. He also served as former principal deputy press secretary in the Trump administration first time around. On X at @JHoganGidley.